alcohol professor, chilled and Waitrose drinks. It was on one of my trips, following the Kentucky Bourbon Trail, that I was taken to what for me was the surprise and highlight of the entire week, a visit to the Brown-Forman cooperage in Louisville, one of the biggest barrel-making operations in the world. The visit was a revelation and is described more fully later in the book. It was the first time I discovered the huge significance of the humble barrel in the making of the drinks we all enjoy. It's a significance not lost on other writers, like the author and drinks consultant Tristan Stevenson. In his fascinating book, The Curious Bartender's Whiskey Road Trip, he writes, "The whiskey barrel is perhaps the most important component of any distillery. It contributes the majority of flavour in any aged spirit, and most of the flavour in older expressions. Over the centuries, barrels have been used as containers for all manner of things, including apples, nails, gunpowder, herrings, butter, pork, a widow going over Niagara Falls, a dead admiral, and coins, which is where we get the phrase scraping the bottom of the barrel from. Without the barrel, we would not only have no bourbon, but also no oak-aged Chardonnay, no barrel-aged stouts, no balsamic vinegar, and no Tabasco sauce, which is aged in used bourbon barrels. Cask Strength tells the story of the barrel from source to source. It certainly looks as if, after a few thousand years of existence, the barrel is here to stay. Or is it? Not only are drinks makers experimenting with what happens if you age gin in a juniper barrel, vodka in a bourbon barrel, mezcal in a wine barrel, or cider in a hot sauce barrel, all described in Cask Strength, they're also experimenting with the barrels themselves. And some are using concrete containers. Concrete? Well, there's an argument to be made, and someone makes it in Cask Strength, that only by using a neutral container can you get the true sense of a wine's terroir. Any kind of wooden barrel adds its own influences, which concrete does not. Some makers are imparting flavour to spirits by using wood chips inside a neutral container, or by working on replicating the chemical makeup of an aged spirit so it can be reproduced artificially without going anywhere near a barrel. Others are using, dare we say it, clay amphora, just as the Greeks and Romans did. Will the barrel go full circle and wooden barrels disappear? We shall see. Notes on listening. All barrels are casks, but not all casks are barrels. I've used the word cask in the title of this book, but frequently use the word barrel in the text as it has become so ubiquitous. To explain all the different types of casks would take up a lot of space and be rather repetitive, though I will mention some of the different types where relevant in the text. They differ in size depending on what they contain, and also which country you're in, and even which part of the country. A Burgundy wine barrel is not the same size as a Bordeaux wine barrel. Different standards have come to apply in different places. And whiskey EY or whiskey no-E? Whiskey EY is the spelling in general use in the United States and Ireland, although some US distilleries do use the whiskey just Y spelling. Elsewhere around the world, they use whiskey just Y. Whichever you choose, you'll offend someone, probably someone with a Scottish accent. As the great British comic novelist P.G. Wodehouse, creator of Wooster and Jeeves, once wrote, "It is never difficult to distinguish between a Scotsman with a grievance and a ray of sunshine." I only hope Cask Strength provides more sunshine than grievances. Chapter 1. The History of the Barrel. Hesi Ra was a high-ranking Egyptian official and priest who lived during the Third Dynasty of Egypt, which was roughly 2686 to 2613 BC. His tomb was decorated with many wall paintings indicating his high status. One of these shows a container made out of wooden staves that are held together with wooden hoops, which all barrels had until metal hoops began to be used in the 19th century, about 4,500 years after Hesi Ra's death. His would probably have been made from palm tree wood and used to measure grain of some kind. It's one of the earliest records we have confirming the existence of barrels. There are other ancient Egyptian wall paintings also depicting barrels. As there was a thriving wine industry in Egypt going back to at least 3000 BC, one painting shows a barrel containing grapes. The Nile Delta was the Napa Valley of ancient Egypt. Barrels and alcohol have been friends for approximately 5,000 years. It's a sign of the barrel's sheer and simple perfection that in all those thousands of years the basic design hasn't changed at all. Using metal hoops instead of wooden ones is about as revolutionary.